Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby. You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room.
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border. And then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on America's soil. So he became the anchor baby. You don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. Thank you for tuning in, everybody, here on this fine Tuesday. What a fine Tuesday it is. It is a fine Tuesday on the Bond Network. It's American Anchor Baby time. I got a show for all of you. Appreciate you tuning in. If you want to call the show, make sure you have this number, 888-775-3773. It is a call-in show. You can call in and speak to the Anchor Baby here. I got a little bit of a show for you, but first I want to welcome everybody watching from dlive.tv/Gorgonzola and rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. What's up, everybody? Welcome on this fine Tuesday. How's your Tuesday? You coming in from work and all that, enjoying a little bit of American Anchor Baby? And it is an absolute pleasure, truly an absolute pleasure to be back with you today on this fine Tuesday. So welcome, everybody, saying hello to the people on the different platforms. And look, a little bit of, shall we call it, advice. Look, clearly you were not raised by parents in a home of consequences. Said consequences, the purpose of which to teach you the laws of the land for you yet follow the laws of the heart. But you didn't even have that. And it's clear because you come into my stream, you come into my home, you kick your shoes off, you sit back, you eat the food, you enjoy the laughs, you talk to the people, but you don't even click the like button. You don't click what? Okay, maybe you don't like it yet. Don't make me force you to do something that's not honest, but at least say hello. What, you don't say hi no more? You come in and you say hi, you don't even say hi no more? Say hello to the people, okay? Helps the channel out. Tickle the algorithm and leave a little comment. Maybe you don't like what you see. Leave a little comment for your brother, the American Anchor Baby, so that he may improve. How about it, okay? Keep that like in the back pocket and don't be an ingrate. Appreciate you being here, everybody. 888-775-3773. Let me open up my little show here. What's up, Bill? All good? All good, Bill? Opening up my little show here because I got a little bit of a show for you. Can we say an actual show? An actual show for you, okay? Is that all? Hold on. Appreciate it, okay? You guys, you're in here. I'm saying hello. I said hello. We did that. We did the likes. We did all those things, right? Appreciate it. Irish Repub. Ivana, how's your little Tuesday? Alias. Appreciate it, C-Cell. Kevin, how? Lord Spike Protein will not be forgotten. Huntsy, Tabitha, the Goy Burger himself, Gravy Seal Dog. Do we have Canada in the house? I don't know. We might have Canada in the house, but everybody else in the chat as well. Appreciate you being here, okay? You know, before I dive right in, let me say thank you very much to those who sent me a little coffee yesterday. They bought me coffees. You guys bought me coffees, and I'm grateful. Buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby. Either they were at the end or I refused to even check my coffees. How dare I? But Terry Strange, thank you. I do see your coffee. Says people need to keep their business to themselves and learn that trauma dumping just makes you weaker and re-traumatized Trump 2024. I appreciate Terry's coffee there. On the heels, or was it before her call yesterday? Either way, the point remains great call, succinctly describing this very notion. Trauma dumping and talking about your problems. It's helping nobody. You're becoming weaker and you're freaking out all the people around you. It's quite evil. There's not a single thing good in it. Even if you're up there on a stage saying, I was brutally, horribly raped and the world needs to know. Most of the people wouldn't even bat an eye. Wow, that's so bad. Yes, tell your trauma. No, even that, it's actually worse. Priscilla, thank you so much, from Houston, says, you handled the Israelite caller well, and I commend you. Great job. We'll appreciate that coffee, Priscilla. And Kohlberger Art, man, appreciate it, sir. Back-to-back coffees there, says, great show. I didn't want to forget those from yesterday. Thank you. You can leave me a coffee, buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby. If you want to, if you feel so inclined, you know, maybe you're not there yet. Maybe you're barely even at the like. But you said hello, right? Well, you don't say hi no more? That's crazy. That's crazy. You weren't even raised right. Anyways, everybody here, thank you. Let's dive right in, okay? Let's not waste any more time. Because I got a little bit of a blast from the past for you. It's an interesting time right now. And there's this word is in like every other headline. The R word. And I'm not talking about Rico. I don't know what I was trying to come up with something funny. I'm talking about resurfacing. That word keeps resurfacing. No, I'm talking about the word resurfacing. I swear, it's like every other headline is video of so-and-so with Diddy resurfaces. So-and-so's photo with so-and-so resurfaces. Clip and audio of person talking to Diddy and blah, blah, blah resurfaces. It's all sorts of stuff resurfacing right now, okay? It's back-to-back resurfacing. And no, that's not a technique. That's not a technique, a furniture finishing technique. They're talking about videos and photos of people involved in some way, shape, or form. You know, you got Taylor Swift standing next to Diddy and smiling. She's eating adrenochrome, and she loves cheese pizza, is the allegations, right? You know, I mean, the people online and what they say. So I got a bit of a blast from the past for you here, a little bit of a video, and I want to kick it off with this video. Blast from the past. In fact, we're going back to 2004. We're talking about Obama. Barry himself. Barry. Yeah. Obama. Look at it. He's right here. Obama. As Trump said once. And in a special moment with Puffy, Sean Diddy Combs, back in 2004, video that's resurfacing, as they say. It's resurfacing. So what horrible things will we see in this video? Probably nothing. Here it is, Obama with Sean Combs in a bit of a funny moment here. So listen up.
Yeah, there you go. Y'all. Thank you. And I just want to say how much I appreciate Puff Daddy for doing the kinds of work that he's doing, because he doesn't have to do this. But this is part of what is important about giving back.
We applaud you, and I want to apologize for not sweating. But I do this so much. I'm so cool. I just want y'all to see everybody I'm interviewing is sweating. I'm not even touching my brow. I'm so cool. And I want to apologize. I ain't trying to make you look bad or nothing like that, but I'm just so cool. We
T-shirt. I tell you, if he was wearing one of those fancy designer clothes he's designing, he'd be sweating just like me.
Base Sean Combs does not sweat, even speaking to various people on camera, always cool, keeping it cool, does not sweat. Sometimes they said, you know, the anchor baby was quite sweaty. You know, it hasn't been that sweaty lately. Maybe it wasn't an endocrine issue. Maybe it wasn't a endocrine problem. Maybe the anchor baby really was nervous. Beta! But anyways, sweating, it's a topic a little bit, okay? hits close to home. And, you know, they splice in this little video too that keeps going around with Mike Tyson and Sean Combs, or as Obama put it, which is why I was laughing. He's like, "I'm here with Puff Daddy." I'll play that again. That part cracks me up for some reason. But of course, they splice in this moment with Mike Tyson, and they say that this is one of those moments that is more proof, evidence that Diddy was a weirdo and he was trying to Diddy Mike Tyson.
About the Benjamin, as we see.
Oh, yes, he's glittering.
It's chilly about the Benjamin.
Well, now when we come back, we're going to talk.
If you missed it, Mike Tyson was saying, yeah, he's all about the Benjamins, which I heard is anti-Semitic, but hey, that's not what's going on here. Let's not open that can of worms. I heard that's anti-Semitic. He's saying he's all about the Benjamins, and he picks up his hand to show off the bling, the excessive and bombastic bling that's on Diddy's hand, Sean Combs, Puff Daddy's hand. You know, they're saying that Mike Tyson was trying to remove Diddy's hand from an improper place. I don't know. It's really stupid, honestly. Like, it's kind of obvious. Oh, look at the bling on his hand. That's what that moment was. But can I play that part again? Obama, in my opinion, feeling a little strange having to say a man's name, Puff Daddy, out loud on camera, and he had to almost second guess it a little bit. Like, oh yeah, that's right. I'm not incorrect. I am about to say, in fact, Puff Daddy, but it doesn't even come out right.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all. Thank you. And I just want to say how much I appreciate Puff Daddy for doing the kinds of work that he's doing.
You see, American people, I'm here with Puff Daddy. Puff Daddy. He kind of gave up. He gave up on saying that. It's funny, okay? They cracked me up. But this is kind of a special moment. This is actually an interesting moment to go back to, if I may. A little bit of an interesting moment. Special moment there with Obama back in 2004, going back 20 years now. And you see at the time, Sean Combs, then known as Puff Daddy, or Puff Daddy, as Obama put it, through the organization he co-founded at the time named Citizen Change, was running a campaign that they called Vote or Die. Vote or Die. By the way, Citizen Change, this organization that Puff Daddy started alongside some other peers in the music industry. In fact, none other than people like Mary J. Blige, and actually even 50 Cent. And this was significant because 50 Cent is one to be very, very, very forward with calling people out for being in the music industry, in the rap industry specifically, being sneaky, being down low, you know, gay and all that. So, but more importantly, that he's kind of like, he makes it clear, he makes it a big kind of stink about, hey, no, I'm not involved with weirdos. I'm not involved with Diddy. What? That's some weird stuff. That's why I don't get involved with that. That's mafia stuff. Anyways. So, you know, it's interesting to note that all sorts of people coming out back to back against him. They love to distance themselves, but they were all there at one point. Anyways, look, Citizen Change, he started it back in the day with the express purpose with the intention to encourage young black voters, basically, to get informed and get involved. And so this campaign called Vote or Die, imagine, vote or die, you're going to die. It's one way, I guess, to get people's attention, was part of the Citizen Change thing to educate people, young black people to get involved, go out and vote. And here he was, you just saw, interviewing Obama through MTV, interviewing a then relatively unknown Obama. He was but a Illinois state senator at the time, and in fact was running for a seat in the U.S. Senate. He was running for that back in 2004, and so that's what actually that interview comes from. It comes from the first moments of Obama being introduced to the world. So it's a little bit of an interesting thing. you'll find it even more interesting as I show you more of the footage. But people stop right there. It's so shallow. They see, oh, look at these two sex traffickers. That's what literally people are saying. These are conservatives. These are conservatives. They'll share this video. These are so-called conservatives online. And they share this video, and they're all over the comments too. They're like, oh, implications, so many implications. Oh, look at them. They're best friends. Oh, Weinstein. Where else is it? It's gone now, but back when I was looking at this thread, all sorts of people were saying that, accusing these two, accusing Obama and Diddy of all sorts of stuff, way beyond anything even talked about, simply for seeing them pictured together. It's an interesting thing to note. All this judgment. Conservatives, look, they'll say stuff like this. You know by the company you keep, says America First. Take this in. America First, this patriot on Twitter, on X, about this. You know by the company you keep, he was arrested for crimes against children. Again, it's not even clear who this person's talking about. Is it Obama? Is it Diddy? But either way, that's just not true. That's just not true. That's just a lie. Arrested for crimes against children. Who? Just wanted to point that out real quick, okay? Okay. So I wanted to play a little bit more of this. Obama interviewed by Sean Diddy Combs, okay? Because it's actually an interesting thing. He was running for U.S. Senate, okay? And so let me play this clip for you. You can call in, by the way, 888-775-3773 if you want to talk to the anchor baby here. In fact, I saw some people trying to call in there. I have the auto attendant on. You won't be lost. You'll be put on hold. You won't have a call screener, but you will be on hold, and I will see you. And I will take your calls, 888-775-3773. So check it out. Obama X Puff Daddy. Second video. Let us watch.
Please introduce yourself to the young men and women of America.
State Senator Barack Obama, candidate for United States Senate from Illinois.
You becoming a black Democratic senator, this is a big deal. This is a big deal.
Well, absolutely. You know, we've got 100 U.S. senators from across the country, and right now not one is African American. So part of what we hope to do is to break that barrier, make sure that African Americans, Latinos, more women are included in the process, because the U.S. Senate makes decisions about a lot of stuff, war and peace, what we do with our tax dollars, etc.
The reason why I'm bringing up this.
Okay, yeah, that's the part where I was just making sure that's where I wanted to pause it. In fact, it is. So, back in 2004, like you're aware, here he is. He's running for U.S. Senate, not president. At the time, he's a state senator. So he's moving up. He's trying to move up in his career and all that. And I wanted to say before playing this clip, basically how there's something admirable about like someone like Sean Combs wanting to affect change somehow. He's got money, he's got influence, but he wants to put it to work. And he knows that it requires convincing individuals. There's something admirable about it, right? But you got to see this. Total liberal. See? Liberal. Total liberal. And so like I said, something admirable about, because if you know anything about the black community, they vote overwhelmingly Democrat, but those are also the ones that do vote. Those are just the ones that do vote. They remain, many of the men remain uninvolved, and just in general, it's pretty much only the whites really who are civically minded, civically involved in a significant way. And so there's something admirable about that. But he's a total liberal, okay? So it's motivated by the mama in him, really. Sean Combs is motivated by this mama spirit in him. So you know it's evil and stupid. It's about black representation or something stupid like that. And like he said, he says to Obama back in 2004, you being a black senator is a big deal. It's a big deal, he says. And Obama's such a snake. I guess even back then, He's talking about we need to break the barriers. We need to break the barriers for Latino, black, blah, blah, blah. He's making it sound like there's never been a black senator. Yeah, Obama, 2004 Obama, if you can hear me for all the way from here, 2024. The first black senator already happened. Why are you acting like it didn't? Okay? We're going to Wikipedia here for a moment. So evil, Wikipedia. They have this whole
big deal because it's proof.
Whoops. They have this whole segment.
That the voting process
oh my
can
gosh.
work.
Not yet. Don't play the clip just yet. There we go. They have this whole segment, Reconstruction to Obama, the history of African American United States senators, black senators, African American state senators, and they have a segment from Reconstruction to Obama, 1870 to 2011. Well, at least they make it clear Obama's at the end of this timeline, because like I'm trying to express to you, the first black senator already happened. So this breaking barriers commentary, even from back then, is so stupid. It's so it's just a farce. Totally. And I see calls, by the way. I see you. I will get to you. Allow me to finish this, okay? This whole little thing here. Then we're going to rock calls. 888-775-3773. Even back then, so evil. Trying to use all these basic lies. Like, we got to break the barriers. Help me understand. If there was already a first black senator, if they're already allowed to be senators and all that, so what's the big deal if there isn't a black senator now? Because in a moment here, you'll see in the rest of the clip, he says something about, there are currently 100 U.S. senators and none of them are black. So I gather that at the time when Obama was running for U.S. Senate, there was not a single black senator, but there was already black senators. So you understand what I'm saying here? It's just that his statement is like built on a lie, unless he's trying to say that blacks are being kept out because of racism, which is obviously the implication. But you're leaving out the other side of the coin here, of the implication coin, which is that maybe they couldn't. Maybe you already had the first black senators. They're already allowed in the Senate. Maybe you don't have a single one because they didn't hack it. Could it be? Could it be? So they have this whole segment here, Reconstruction to Obama. In and you know, as you can see here, they picture this first guy, this first man, Hiram Rhodes Revels, the first African-American to serve in the U.S. Senate, according to Wikipedia, following the Civil War. Yes, blacks were in the Senate way back even right after the Civil War. In fact, would you like to know that Wikipedia also informs the public that blacks were voting well before the Civil War? Obviously, not in a large way, but there were a lot of states and locales and places where blacks were voting way back even in the 1830s. You can do your homework, okay? Go do your homework. So, blacks they were emancipated and given the right to vote, but they really were only allowed to vote till 1940 and 1960, the civil rights. That's what they say, okay? We're going to poke some holes here. Of course, they also picture the first black female to serve in the U.S. Senate, Carol Moseley Braun, which I can only assume was like all these other first black females of anything, there for an agenda, not to even represent America in the right way. More on representation, black representation, all that in a moment. But I want to finish this up. You know, this Wikipedia article makes this mention of disfranchisement. And yes, that's how they spell it. Disfranchising, not disenfranchising. That's how I know that word, disenfranchisement. But they call it disfranchising. I don't know if this is some change of language the way they do, you know, when they talk about these things. But the disfranchisement after the Reconstruction era. And it talks about the Mississippi State Legislature and battles over a black and a white man in 1881. How the black man lost this election. And the Wikipedia article tries to educate the reader about the Democratic-nominated state legislatures that started popping up in the South. So basically, Democrats took power in the South, they allege, for through different means. They say through terrorism, through the KKK, but whatever. Democrats, through whatever way, get elected and maintain power in the South. And they start passing these constitutions and laws, which this article says was disfranchisement of black voters, which is what? It's basically saying that they enacted laws, literal laws, to stop blacks from voting. Even after the Civil War and the 15th Amendment was ratified in 1870, which its express purpose was to protect all citizens' right to vote, regardless of race and stuff like that. That's what the 15th Amendment was for. 1870 was ratified. And here's Mississippi legislatures and other states in the South literally enacting racist laws to disfranchise black voters, says the Wikipedia article, in not even that uncertain terms. You got to understand how thick they lay it on. In 1890, the Democratic-dominated state legislature passed a new constitution disfranchising most black voters. I mean, you read this and you think, man, Wait, hold on, Obama, not yet. Hold on, Obama and Diddy. Just my bad. I keep giving you the cue, but it's just not time yet. You know, you read that Wikipedia article, and you think, wow, it's still racism, man. It's still going on. They tried to stop them from voting, and it's crazy. You know, I clicked through on the Wikipedia article and I get like 3 more articles about this. And nowhere in these articles does it give me the details. I'm waiting on the details. I'm waiting for the text of these laws and constitution, which I'm waiting for it to read. And blacks are not allowed to vote. And this is why blacks, blah, blah, blah. And I've yet to find it. I finally get something from the Wikipedia articles about disfranchisement. And I'm like wondering, so what was in the Constitution that they changed that was so racist that stopped them from voting? And get this, what were the constitutional changes? Stuff like poll taxes. You hear about this? Poll taxes. What's a poll tax? A poll tax is in the history of the poll taxes in the United States. The use of a poll tax across the U.S. had been a major source of government funding among the colonies and states which formed the United States. So a poll tax is a tax of a fixed sum on every liable individual, typically every adult, without reference to income or resources. As you know, taxes, right, are progressive, right? So they change. If you make more money, you pay more taxes. A poll tax is just a fixed tax, and everybody who's eligible, and at the time it was like every adult, you pay the taxes. That's how it goes. And so I'm waiting to find out, so poll taxes were only implemented on blacks? No, it wasn't. It wasn't just implemented on blacks, but you had to pay your taxes to be allowed to vote. And so what were they saying back then? And this is way back then. You got to understand, this was back in 1870s. They started saying, well, that's racism. How can you expect these blacks to pay their taxes? That means you hate the blacks and you don't want them to vote. Sound familiar? You mean you need a driver's license ID to vote? You don't want the blacks to vote then? Wait, hold up. So you don't want the blacks, you don't think the blacks can be equal citizens, is what you're saying. What were other so-called racist constitutional changes? Literacy tests. They started imposing literacy tests. Residency requirements, meaning you couldn't be the sharecropper who moved around the whole place. You have to prove that you live in the place that you're voting in. Okay, fair to me. And criminal disqualification. Oh, if you were a felon, you can't vote. Oh, so you hate the blacks. You don't want the blacks to vote because they're all felons. It's crazy. It's been going on even since back then. It's crazy. They make it sound like they wrote in laws to not let blacks vote, but really, it was just a fight even back then. And allow me to say this. Allow me to express what I'm trying to say. You realize when you read this, you realize they didn't write these laws just because they were black. It's because they were black and stupid and evil. It's not just because they were black. It's because they were black and immoral and they didn't trust them to vote and they didn't want them to have voting power. Fine. So it was not just because they were black, okay? It's because they were near them, and they're like, wait, we can't let these people vote. They won't pass literacy tests. They won't pay taxes. Whatever. I mean, look, for a second, just stand back and remember the words of Booker T. Washington. The blacks got uppity right away. They were emancipated, and right away they were like trying to be something in politics. And not only were they trying to be something in politics, they used political terrorism on the whites right away. They were like, we need equal rights under the law. How dare you? Blah, blah, blah. Remember, Booker T was criticizing the blacks for doing just that when he said, why don't you just cast down your bucket where you are and build yourself up from what you are? Stop. You want all this stuff, all these ambitions, and all those ambitions are motivated from this source of evil to take that something was, you know. So it's crazy. It was happening back then, and they got uppity right away. They got uppity in the politics right away. It's crazy. It's crazy. So that's the disfranchisement for you. And can I get right before we get back to this puffy video so that we can finish up and get to callers? Appreciate you holding very patiently. 888-775-3773. I wanted to mention this before we finish that video. Check this out. As I'm reading this on Wikipedia, and I've mentioned this before, but I wanted to present it to you once again. Look at what the academics on Wikipedia and otherwise call this era of American history. They call it the nadir of American race relations. Ain't that poetic? Now, a nadir is like a geometric word. Its opposite is the word zenith. Zenith. Now, a zenith is, of course, the height, the very pinnacle of something. Its opposite, the nadir, being the lowest point of something. They're saying, the academics are calling this the worst point in American race relations. I mean, come on, guys. So maybe you could stop complaining, maybe, huh? Maybe you could stop complaining. The nadir already passed. The nadir of American race relations already passed. So it's on the up and up. So stop with all the complaining. Just wanted to mention that. So let's get back to the video here. Let's get back to Puff and Obama.
U.S. Senate makes decisions about a lot of stuff.
Oh, Lord, hold up. Back it up. Let's go.
100 U.S. senators across from...
Okay, let's watch.
Please introduce yourself to the young men and women of America.
So he did say the 100 senators thing already. Okay, whatever. Let's just play from here.
United States Senate from Illinois.
You becoming a black Democratic senator, this is a big deal. This is a big deal.
Well, absolutely. You know, we've got 100 U.S. senators across the country, and right now not one is African American. So part of what we hope to do is to break that barrier, make sure that African Americans, Latinos, more women are included in the process, because the U.S. Senate makes decisions about a lot of stuff, war and peace, what we do with our tax dollars, etc.
The reason why I'm bringing up that's a big deal, because it's proof that the voting process can work if minorities and young people get involved. The disenfranchised don't usually vote.
There's that word.
Make changes and can change the face of politics. Do you agree?
Absolutely. Listen, you're a motivating force for young people all across the country. Your music moves people. You're a trendsetter. But part of what we want to do is to make sure that we're setting a trend in terms of political participation. You know, music, fashion, all that's important. But people have to also understand that, you know, when our young men and women go to war, somebody's make that decision, and it's typically going to be young people. You know, whether you work at Mickey D's or you're producing records, your tax dollars are going somewhere. And young people have to be involved in that decision-making process so that their interests are looked after. Part of it is also that it's a way of asserting your power. You don't want to give away your power anymore than you want to give away your money. You know, you wouldn't give away your money to anybody that just walk down the street. But when you give away your vote, you're giving away a little bit of power that you have to influence the things that you see around you.
When you want to be the president of the United States, you call your man, call MTV. We're going to give you a platform. We're going to give you a way to speak because you on to something, kid. Well, you on to something. You making sense to me.
You on to something, kid. He would go on to become just that. President. So, Hold on here. There we go. You know, there's a sliver of wisdom in the whole, you wouldn't give away your power to someone, your vote to someone, your money to someone, blah, blah, all that. There's a little sliver of wisdom there. There's something to being civically minded, right? Like I said, aware of what's happening to the country. And you know yourself. You know yourself to a degree, at least enough, that you know what you're about. And so you know how to recognize that in the people that are supposed to represent you. Okay? Seeing your part in a larger process and all what it all means. But Obama is lying. He says, vote so your interests are looked after. I mean, well, sure. If I may add, you know, some people also vote, not just with their interests in mind, but for the betterment of the country. But he says, young people, you need to get involved because your tax dollars are being used for war. Look, it's like that might matter. That might matter to some of the men that the founding fathers had in mind that would be voters, right? Civically minded men, masters of their domain, owners of a home, leaders of a family, or their community in some way. You know, they work or you know, whatever. Integral parts of their world around them. Yeah, maybe to that person, a real American citizen, it might matter where your what war your tax dollars are going to. But let's be real for a second. What does a war run by money and egos and things way bigger than you have to do with your interests? You know, it's like that's the vast majority of people are being used by these war interests and their attention and all that. They have no clue what's happening. So that's a lie. And he says, use your power to affect change around you. Meaning, but he means like vote for change, vote for change. Tell me what you think, folks. Do you think Diddy, Sean Combs, Puff Daddy has more influence to affect change around his community with his vote, or with who he is as a person and how he influences the world actively with what he does? What about you at home? How do you think you'll affect change like Obama's talking about? What do you think would be more effective? Voting for the person who's like, I will change your life and I will move mountains for you, voter. Vote for me, politician. Or you, the individual, becoming a master of your domain. Like some of the people you saw that you might want to judge. Diddy, for all the things you might want to say. Seems to be, he started this organization. He's like, vote or die. Let me educate young black voters, da-da-da. I mean, that's good. There's something commendable about that if he wasn't such a mama spirit liberal. And, you know, he said, Sean Combs says the voting process does work. And you know what? It does work. And here's why. Here's proof that it does work. Because there's a lot of people, jaded people right now who they don't even want to vote. There's even older white men calling Jesse Lee Peterson. They're like, I don't vote. It's all a sham, blah, blah, blah. And you know why they say that? They say it's all a sham because it's all theater. And there's some truth to that, right? The left and the right really have become the same. And in recently it's been kind of pretty much revealed just how captured the left and the right both are. By what? But let me give you easy proof that voting, let me put it like this, that the process still works, that it has importance. And why? Because there's such a thing as cheating. And I'm not talking about 2020. I'm not talking about any American election. I don't know anything about that. And if you ask the experts, they say that there's no significant cheating in American election. So whatever, that's what the experts say. I really don't know. I'm not here to make such claims. But you ask many experts, they say there's some cheating in American elections. I don't know anything about that. But I'm talking about just cheating in general. That the mere fact that there exists cheating in elections is proof that the process has importance. If it was all a sham, there wouldn't be a need to lie and cheat and put on such a show and try and be very convincing in your lying and cheating. There would be no need for that. Don't you understand? So I'm talking about elections in general. And there are people, older men, who've given up in some respect because they say voting doesn't work. They say it's because it's all captured, but don't you see your logic is flawed? It's not totally captured. So calm down. And you know, I had Maze call me recently. You know Maze. We love Maze. And then I'm going to get to calls after this. She called me recently. She talked about representation. She was talking about, oh, you can't talk about this or that. You're not black. You can't represent or know what blacks, what they need and what's best for them because you're not black. Or this or that person cannot represent me because they are not a woman or blah, blah, blah. But as you can see, and I admire the intention, but as you can see, everybody who wants their color represented is a dummy, a total dummy. They're being total dummies. There's not a single person you could point to me that's not a dummy trying to do that. And look, my impression is that whites don't really do that. As you could tell, they're the people who are always saying, no, I mean, you know, it's everybody's the same. Cultures are basically the same. Skin color, you know, it's an individual. They really put a lot of credence on the individual, and I appreciate that from them. This is not me saying that they have to now accept a non-white country. No, I think America was started as a white country. Even Abraham Lincoln said, yeah, I want to free the slaves, but if it was up to me, I'd send them off to their own place. They'd get their own country. They wouldn't be here. The point of that being that it was started as a white country. So I'm not saying that they got to accept a non-white country. That being said, it feels a little ghetto. It feels a little ghetto when they start doing the whole, when they want to be like Sean Combs and Obama. So anyways, those are some of the things I was thinking about, representation and how that's so stupid. And then Obama, he would go on to actually give a speech at the 2004 Democratic National Convention, still as a state senator back then. A speech that would largely propel him to the national stage, that saw him get elected as a U.S. senator, and his pathway to the presidency that we know in 2008 and all that. And he gave this speech and he emphasized unity and hope, the idea of one America. He said, there's not a liberal America and a conservative America. There's the United States of America. We worship an awesome God in the blue states, and we don't like federal agents poking around our libraries in red states. The media would call this speech that resonated deeply with the audience and media, showcasing his eloquence and vision for the country. By the way, yeah, be careful. You're not allowed to call blacks eloquent anymore. Did you know that? It's actually racist to call them eloquent. The eloquent black. It was a pivotal moment that set the stage for his successful run for U.S. Senate, blah, blah, blah. It's interesting that all these people come with this, it's no two Americas. There's no two Americas. We worship an awesome God. They basically lie and say there's no problems. And then they look at someone like Trump who's speaking honestly about the things that we all think and see. And they say he's full of grievances and just has no plan and wants to talk about problems. You mean the truth? I know it hurts. But it takes some... Anyways, look. So that's a little bit about that. I want to move on. I want to, in fact, get to a caller here. And then I can move on. And I got more stuff for you here that you might find interesting. But first, I have a caller. Thank you so much for the patience. You're on the air. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Josh from Georgia.
What's up, Josh?
Brother.
How you doing, sir?
Doing all right. Am I coming in all right?
Loud and clear on that brand spanking new Trump phone.
Yeah. No, it's still a Biden phone since he's in office, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I got it for free, man. So you know the government is they can. I don't trust this phone, bro. Anything that's free, you know, it's because it's free because they can.
Yeah.
They're watching everything on it. Yeah.
All conversations are compromised.
Yeah.
Don't say anything.
You know, you can hear me clear. That's the only reason I got it.
Loud and clear, right? Loud and clear.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, man, about that, what you was just talking about, I voted for Obama both times, unfortunately. I was a beta.
Have you said that before? I feel like for some reason I don't remember that.
I've never said that.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's getting recorded by the government, by the way. FBI knows it now too.
Yeah.
Not that it matters.
Yeah, this will be my third time voting for Trump though.
Let's go.
But so I guess I'm 3 for Trump and 2 for Obama, right? I guess I redeemed myself, right?
So what was that like? So that's an interesting factoid to learn from you.
like you were just saying, vote or die was the thing.
Yeah.
They stole that from Jeezy. Jeezy was the hottest thing back then, and his motto was trap or die. Ooh. And back then, I was all into that. The whole
nice.
Rap thing, and 106 in Park. They was vote or die. They had the big campaign, and I genuinely thought Obama was I thought he was like Superman.
Yeah.
I genuinely thought it. I was in college, and but most black people don't vote, bro, or don't care about politics. They do not, and they see it as kind of like a sport. They'll argue it. They'll call your show and argue with you over it, but they don't care.
I've heard this.
Yeah.
Okay, but you know what? When you take in a speech like this where he says there's not a liberal America and a conservative America, it's only the United States of America, we're one, and then you get all of these people cheering, blacks and whites, which remember, whites, I think even a whole bunch of Republicans were like, you know what, it's time, this will fix race relations, let's vote in Obama. So you had you have all these whites, they're blacks, they're all cheering, they're like, yes we can, they're hearing one America. How can you blame? I mean, I don't know if I could really blame you for voting for that. You know what I mean? Now, years later, we should be able to see the underpinnings of this whole thing. Right? Oh, it's unity, and it never was.
Yeah, the black man was created by God to serve the white man, bro.
More gripes and grievances against the white man. Yeah.
Yeah, we won the lottery by being born in America. As a black man, I was won the lottery by being born in America. I'm here to serve the white man as a black man.
Let's go. Hey,
I'm here to serve, and that
evil people won't understand the spirit you're saying that with. They would never get that. They would never get that in a million years. That's amazing. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And you know what? Early vote. You're not voting early this year. You're gonna go the day of to vote.
I'm standing in that line.
The day of November 5th.
Yes, sir. I'm standing in that line. I'm voting for Trump, even though my vote means nothing in California. No electoral college vote will be going to him from here. But I'm doing that anyways.
The day of, not early voting, because early voting kicks off in 45 days in most states.
That's true.
I need to for this election. I'm gonna do it the day of. I'm gonna go the day November 5th.
Yes.
And schedule it. Yeah.
Nice.
I'm gonna do it. And and one more thing. You heard about that Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight, man?
Okay, so I definitely heard about it, and I stopped
November
hearing about
15th.
it. So it is on
after the election.
So it is on. Huh.
It is on. It's scheduled for the week after November 5th. So the Friday after the election, but it's I just saw Mike Tyson on Mace's pod. You heard of Mace? You heard the rapper Mace?
Yes.
He used to be P. Diddy's partner.
Right.
Bad boy.
Yep.
Mike Tyson was on Mace's podcast, and they were talking about it. And he was saying that they were talking about Trump and Trump. Man, Mike Tyson is a diehard Trumper, man.
Let's go.
Yeah, but
I seen that.
What?
Diehard Trumper.
Yeah. But anyway, he's about to fight Jake Paul, man.
What do you think about that? How are you feeling about that fight?
Weird. I hope if it supports Trump, then I'm for it. Jake Paul is a Trump supporter.
That's cool.
So Mike Tyson
I like
is a
both
Trump
of them.
supporter.
I honestly like both of them.
Both.
I actually like both of them. Jake's cool. Like he's always been edgy, but he rubs people the wrong way. But it's part of the shtick, I think, and I think it's probably true. But young, confident, white people who make things happen, especially Trump supporters. Yeah, they rub people the wrong way. And I like Mike Tyson too. I think he's just a legend, absolute legend. I met him. And
bro, you gotta tell us about that, the hot boxing with Mike with Jesse that they never aired. You gotta go in detail with that.
I can. I'll try my best with that. But maybe I should ask first. But look, on that, people are saying Mike Tyson's, as tough as a monster as Mike Tyson may be, you can't fight forever. And even the best of the best of the best eventually got like glass jaws and injuries and all that. So, people are, I don't want to say I'm worried for a grown man, but yeah.
That's what he was talking about on Mace's podcast. So it was Mace and Killer Cam's podcast. Last week, it just aired. And he was saying that you know, he quit his hotboxing podcast because it just seemed fake to him. You know, it was becoming too mainstream. He's a very spiritual kind of a guy. He likes the Jesse principles. He's into that type of stuff. Man,
he was.
Yeah.
I remember people around him. They were saying when he was talking with Jesse, because he had this co-host, the Cejudo, one of the Cejudo brothers.
Cejudo, yeah. He's a Trump supporter too.
Trump supporter, also loves Cejudo. Jesse. Doesn't know him as much as one of his brothers. I think he has a brother who's another fighter, but he has another brother, I believe, who's not a fighter. He's not in the limelight. But this guy really likes Jesse. He's come to the church, blah, blah, blah. He connected us and all that. The point is, what I'm trying to say is that Henry Cejudo usually kind of takes the reins and talks more than Mike Tyson. But they were saying that they were shocked because Cejudo didn't have to take up any airtime, that Tyson was just talking and talking and talking like wildfire. And that's what it looked like to me with Jesse.
He's real.
And he didn't have to, because Cejudo has to kind of like take up the reins a lot because Tyson won't have anything to say to a lot of these people. They're nobodies. But with Jesse, he was talking to, and they were all telling me, man, I've never seen Mike like this. He's just talking and talking. He's really into this. And it wasn't even that crazy.
Real recognize real, bro.
Yeah. And it wasn't even that crazy. Like, dude, like it was not even spicy. It was just real. But they were all like, ooh. I saw these betas that when Jesse would say something, like it was something simple too, like, you got to forgive your mother. And it was like, come on, guys, that's not even that deep. It's like, he wasn't even saying anything like, women are evil. And they were like, what? And it was so stupid, man.
Yeah. Yeah. He on a different level, man.
Yeah.
And that's why he said on that Mace podcast that he just it's just fake. He said he couldn't be himself. And on that, bro, he was really being himself on that Mace podcast, bro. And he was like talking about like nothing, all his winnings mean nothing. You know, he's more into.
It's garbage. His title is The Garbage.
Right.
It's garbage.
Right.
No, I love Mike Tyson. He's been up and down. He's a character, but I love him, man. He's a
Trumpster, man. He say he hangs out with Trump all the time.
That's cool,
and
man.
He goes to dinner with Melania and Barron.
Didn't Trump defend him too? Trump had his back too during all that crap.
Bro, he said Trump he fought in the Trump hotel in his first fight with Cus D'Amato. And so he's always, since he was a kid, he loved Trump.
Nice.
And he said Trump is always, you know, Trump is a big fight fan too.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
yeah,
and he defended him when all that crap happened with that
Robin Givens, and all that. Yeah.
Hey, Trump doesn't. It's cool that Trump doesn't let opinions of others change what he sees, because he's met the man. He's been around him. He doesn't let opinions of others and what he hears change his opinion about what he sees, and that's cool. I respect that.
Yeah, but the blacks don't care, man. We blacks don't care about politics or voting. You know, we love Mike Tyson though. Everybody loves Mike Tyson, but they're gonna shield Mike Tyson from talking about how he loves Trump, you know, because they don't want that to get out. You know?
Amazing, man. Anything else you want to talk about quick before we move the wheels?
That's all, bro. Move the wheels, man. Great show.
Call me again, sir.
Will do, man.
And I see another caller, by the way. No call screener right now. I see you on hold. This little segment will take but a moment. It will not be even close to as long as the first segment. I'll do this quick and get right to you. Appreciate you holding. 888-775-3773. But you got celebrities. Speaking of your opinion being changed by the public, you got celebrities left and right disavowing Diddy right now. I saw Leonardo DiCaprio even. They put out some picture. The public terrorists. You shouldn't negotiate with terrorists, Leonardo DiCaprio. But they show this picture of him at the white party, and there were all these people wearing white. Oh, Diddy's white party. It's like everybody went to a Diddy party, right? And he comes out, and he's like, no, I disavow. Left and right, people are disavowing Diddy. And, they're scared. They got fear. But they're in fact trying to do the same with Trump. The media is playing this video now. They're spreading it around, and they're putting out the articles. Donald Trump praises Diddy, sparking chilling responses from former The Apprentice contestants. And you get headline after headline here trying to put Diddy and Trump close together in the hopes that they can control him. That's what this is, folks. That's why you don't give in to terrorists. Because you give in and you're like, no, I disavow. now they can go even harder. Oh, see, he's trying to hide something. It's so evil. It truly is evil. And the media loves it. They get a kick out of it. And so let me play this video for you. Trump on Diddy. And so this goes back to The Apprentice. We're going back to 2012 on Mr. Trump's show, The Apprentice, where he's speaking to this woman named Aubrey O'Day. Okay, and she's part of some girl group called Danity Kane, just so you know. Let me play this clip for you here and what they're saying Trump should disavow.
Working for Diddy for 6 years trained me to have to be perfect.
Working for Diddy?
Absolutely.
I love Diddy. You know, he's a good friend of mine. He's a good guy. Is he a good guy?
I don't want to answer that question.
Oh, wow. I think he's a good guy. I'm going to stick up for him.
Let's play that again.
Working for Diddy for 6 years trained me to have to be perfect.
Working for Diddy?
Absolutely.
I love Diddy. You know, he's a good friend of mine. He's a good guy. Is he a good guy?
I don't want to answer that question.
Oh, wow. I think he's a good guy. I'm going to stick up for him.
Oh my gosh, did you see what Aubrey O'Day said? She's like, I don't want to answer that question. What was she hiding beneath that look, beneath and between the words? That's how the public is. It's really freaking stupid. I hate it. But don't hate things, kids, if I may steal something from Hate Report. But, so first of all, right on, Mr. Trump. That's called loyalty, folks. Trump, like I was saying earlier, he's always worked with people and he never lets other people's opinions mess with what he sees, I love that. And he loves the blacks. He's always worked with black culture and different rappers, and he's worked with them. He loves them. Aubrey O'Day, that lady, that woman there, barely a lady, let's be real. Barely a lady from this girl group, Danity Kane, this girl group that was propelled to stardom, by the way, thanks to Diddy. Yes, there was they were contestants on some show. And it was basically thanks to him, okay? A lot of people owe their careers to Sean Combs. And everyone wants to say her reaction is proof of something. I don't know of what. It's proof. Honestly, what can you say from that? She says, I worked with him for 6 years and he like wanted perfection from them.
Working for Diddy for 6 years trained me to have to be perfect.
All we can gather is that proof that Diddy was a tough guy with high standards. And, you know, those kinds of guys are tough and they rub people the wrong way. He's like, he's so mean. He has such high standards. What else can we gather from that? And this was kind of a known thing that he was like that with them, but whatever. I wasn't really paying attention back then. Aubrey O'Day's defiance inspires fans and fuels allegations against Diddy, writes this stupid publication. Fans who have followed O'Day's journey have rallied behind her. Many praised her resilience in standing up to powerful figures like Diddy, even when her claims were initially dismissed. As the situation continues to develop, O'Day's defiance stands as a powerful example of someone who refuses to be silenced, regardless of the pressures from the entertainment industry. No, that's not strength. Let's say years later, you come out and say, I'm still hurt because, let's say it's all true. She was raped. Let's say the worst of the worst. Let's just assume some things here. She was brutally raped. And she comes out decades later to say, I'm still hurt. I'm still hurt decades later from this horrible thing. That is not strength. You're telling people that for 20, 30, 40 years, this individual had a hold over your life. You, who is an individual, a mere memory has a hold over your life. You want to tell me that's strength? You want to tell me that's strength? No, that does not sound like strength at all. About to get to calls. Thank you. Appreciate you calling me back. I saw that you dropped. I'm almost done. But that's assuming a lot, okay? That's not even the allegations or whatever. Let me express to you real quick that O'Day is just another one of these people who came out years later, decades later, to say something. She said this in not this, but she's made stink about Diddy in 2020 when all this stuff when all this allegations started coming out. So she's just another one of these people. Take it with a grain of salt. And they want to call her strong. Even if it was true and she's feeling bad about it, not strong. And say it's not true and she's just trying to bring awareness, you're not helping anybody. Still not strength. You're proving to the world that you can control these women. All you got to do is do a trauma thing to them and they'll be yours forever. They'll be traumatized forever. It's like, you want to just spread more weakness? Don't you know that you can overcome? Don't you know that you don't have to relive the memory and relive the trauma? That you can actually drop it and you can be strong, you can overcome. But no, the world doesn't tell you that. It's crazy. So if I may, Mr. President Trump, don't disavow Diddy. Whatever pressure may come your way, whatever pressure may come from your female-led campaign managers, please, for a second here. Don't listen to them. Don't disavow Diddy. Maybe just say nothing. It's probably for the best. Elections coming up. Just say nothing. But don't disavow him. You don't need to do that. Shout out to the persecuted men. Rejoice. Take it all as a blessing. Take heart, as the Bible says. I have said these things to you, that in me you may have peace. In the world you will have tribulations, but take heart. I have overcome the world. Jesus said that. That's in John. So, yeah, that's a little bit on that. Diddy and Trump. Let's get to calls here. 888-775-3773. Appreciate your call. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, Nick. It's David from Kansas City, but you might know me better as Internet Manster. I don't know
hey! First time calling
a
show?
Enjoy your show. It's first time calling your show, I think.
It's a pleasure and an honor.
Show at least once.
It's a pleasure and an honor, man. Thank you for calling.
Oh, thank you, Nick. I want you to know, man, I love the JLP network. I was talking to one of my coworkers today about it, telling him, man, when I found the JLP network, I was in a real, fallen state, as you put it. And man, I'm one of those guys that I feel like it saved my life. And I tell my coworkers all the time, hey, you may not get Jesse and the crew when you first watch them, but give them a second chance because, like, those guys saved my life. Anyways,
thank you for that, man. Appreciate the endorsement, sir.
Oh, seriously, you and Jesse and Hank, and Joel, you guys, seriously, I love the network. And, earlier you were talking about media. You guys are the new media, Like, I don't watch the mainstream news. I don't watch any of that. I watch the JLP network and a few other networks. And to me, that's the show. That's the media.
Let's go.
That I prefer. But,
we got you, sir.
Also, I want to give a shout out to your last caller. Man, he was cool. I really like that guy.
We love
Josh. He was cracking me up, man. I really like that last caller. But I just, my wife hates it when I rant to her about Trump, so I thought I'd call you and just rant about something.
Yeah, man, save your marriage. Rant to us about it.
So now I want you to know something about me. I'm a huge Trump supporter. Like, I love Trump.
Let's go. How can you not?
If there's one
how can you not have a Trump bias? You know what I'm saying, man? It's like, how can you not have a Trump bias? How can you not? How can you not be like when you just see what he's about? It's like, how can you not be biased for Trump? Like they say that like it's a bad thing, but it's like, yeah, I'm biased. Have you seen him? Have you heard him talk?
Have you heard of this guy?
Yeah.
But what I was getting at was I love Trump, but I will always call BS when I think I hear it. And there is one thing I've been wanting to call you or Hake or somebody to debate this. There's one thing I'll call Trump on that's BS, but I would
love it.
I want you to know I would love it if he would do everything he says, but there's one thing I think that's total BS.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe if Trump wins that he will do on day one a mass deportation?
Yeah, I just don't know, man. I really just don't know. And I really sincerely mean the I don't know. And that being said, I share some of your doubts about it. But every day I keep seeing stuff like he'll be sounding off on Truth Social, and I'm like, damn, this sounds pretty based. Like, he sounds like he's serious, but man, I really don't know. I really, really don't know. I mean, think about it. They start doing that, and you got the news, the media machine churning out story all day. This guy, look at this, images of people being deported, poor Mexican families. It's like, are we really going to stand up to all that? I just don't know. So, it sounds unlikely.
The reason why I believe it's total BS is because when a politician like Trump knows what he's going to do, he's very clear about how he's going to do it. You know, he lays it out. And if you really pay attention to what he's saying,
yes,
he'll tell you how he's going to do it.
Right. He's making, if I'm sorry about interrupting you, but yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because that's the part that's leaving me. That's why I'm leaving it. I don't know. Cause I've never seen a politician, you know, whatever, even an asterisk on that, calling him a politician, but I've never seen someone be so definite about the plan itself, the step-by-step rubber meets the road plan on how these people will be deported. He's been saying pretty clear things. He's been saying, day one, we'll stop the flights. We'll take away temporary protection status. We will start busing from this area. And I'm like, damn. I mean, when you start putting it like that, I got to leave it as an I don't know. I think then we're allowed to hold him to the fire afterwards. And we're allowed to say, wow, there's a little bit of hoodwinking going on even with that if it should not happen. But because he's being pretty specific now. Now it's not just like a overarching, yes, I will deport them all. He's saying I will do this and this and this. And now it's like, okay, what the heck is going to happen? You know what I mean?
Now, I've been wrong before.
Yes.
And I tell people all the time, I love it when I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I love to be wrong. But let me clear this too. It's, you know, my heart goes out to anybody that has to be deported, you know, but just know that it's not because we don't like you, we don't love you. It's that there's a proper way to do it. And it breaks my heart, but at the same time, you know, like I was saying, Trump's very
You said
clear
it breaks your heart?
about how
Go
he's
ahead,
going to
finish
do
your
something.
statement, no worries.
And the thing is, the reason why I say that the mass deportation thing is the one thing I think he's total BS on is because he hasn't laid out a plan as to how he's going to do it. He may have said a few minor details, but dude, we're talking mass deportation. And I just don't see that being realistic, at least on day one.
Yeah, I just don't know either.
Let's build the wall, and then let's go through the proper channels of deportation. If anything, the best way he could do it is when he says he's going to support the police, he has to support ICE too. And that's going to be a slow process. But I don't see this mass. You know, I think a lot of people have this fantasy in their head, like, because my wife will ask me, like, well, what's the plan? And I'll tell her, I don't know. I mean,
those are pretty significant points, if I may.
To do it?
Those are pretty significant points when he's talking about using, I think he even said that too. Something about the National Guard. Anyways, look, I'll put it like this. I share a lot of what you're saying. I really do. Because like, just play it out, like game it out in your head a little bit. The media will start saying this. Look at masses of Mexican families being, and whatever families being. They're not going to. If it's not Trump, if Trump will stand up to it, not the Republicans won't. They'll fold in a second. That being said, here's keeping an eye on the ground and on the latest, on the very, very latest. Let me express a little bit of what has happened. So you got Trump saying, I'm going to do mass deportations. I'm going to be dictator just the first day. And I'll close the border and do mass deportations. It'll be the greatest thing. Okay, he said that a while ago. It was hush on that for a while. The media was hitting him. Oh, look at what he's saying. But he really didn't say it much more. Then he said it like once more, twice more again. He said, I will do he called it the biggest deportation, whatever, of all time, blah, blah, blah. And then again, the media machine came up again. But a lot of criticisms started coming up, and he stopped talking about it so much. And then there were some really specific criticisms that, in my opinion, I think hit the Trump campaign. And it includes the Groyper War. You heard about Groyper War? Anyways, no. There's this contingent of Trump supporters who've come out and really, really criticized Trump. And I'm telling you, man, as soon as that happened, right away, Trump started posting all this stuff about, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to end this temporary protection status, and I'm going to do this and this. It almost feels like a response to all the to all the fears. Again, this is my opinion. At this point, it's conjecture, anchor baby conjecture, but it almost feels like a direct response to the people who are fearful or whatever, worried that the media campaigns and all that would stop Trump from fulfilling the fullness of what he's saying. Now, that may be cope. I really do share what you're saying, honestly, if you ask me honestly. But that being said, I got to say, it almost feels like Trump is directly responding to some of these fears. So I'm going to leave it as an I don't know.
Well, let me say this, though. The amount of benefits, if he was able to pull it off, if you can do a mass deportation and you get rid of all the illegals, then housing prices go down because all of a sudden there's apartments to rent, there's houses to rent, there's houses to buy. So that'll make an effect. Then there's jobs open for everybody that's like my wife is struggling to get just a minor job right now just to help us with bills. And it's because it's just hard for her to find a small job because they're all getting filled up.
Yep.
And if you do mass deportation, housing drops, job markets open, crime reduces, police force gets enforced. There is a lot of benefits if it happens. But
it's just the will has to be there, right? The will has to be there enough to stand up to the.
Be kind of a part of it.
Crazy, man. Can I ask you quick though? Oh, sorry, please. I don't want to cut you off what you were trying to say. My apologies.
No,
go ahead.
Go ahead, please.
I want to ask you about the breaking your heart thing. Your heart breaks at the thought of someone being deported?
Well, I mean, I don't like seeing anybody get removed from a situation that they're comfortable in. I'm an exterminator, and I go into people's complexes, and there's times when people have to deal with the reality of the situation, and it's like, I'm sorry, but if you don't clean your apartment, you're going to create conditions that hurt other people, and we've got to report you to your manager if you can't cooperate with our conditions to help you fix this.
Right.
My point is it's the same thing with, well, listen, you're here illegally, and I didn't make you come here illegally.
Exactly.
And I'm sorry. And I guess you could call it the Christian nature in me. This is just my personal opinion. I mean, I see why you're asking the question, and I appreciate it from a JLP network perspective.
Yeah. We got to think about these things we're saying, because you just agree with, and I agree with you. You had no part of that. You did not make them illegal. You didn't do any of that. That's not your fault. And you should feel no ways about it.
It wasn't my choice. I didn't vote for Biden. Okay? This isn't my fault, but I'll help fix it. But it takes a lot out of you to have to, what's the word? Like dehouse somebody. It breaks your heart. It's not easy, but it's the battle we have to fight if we want to save our nation.
I mean, you saying that is proof that this idea of mass deportations is a lot more difficult. There's a big will that must be overcome, or emotion really that must be overcome. Because even you're saying your heart breaks. Yeah, you're right. I agree with you. It's going to be tough to convince the nation and have people cool with mass deportations, because even your heart breaks.
I live in a neighborhood where I'm surrounded by Mexican and Spanish-speaking people of all sorts of nations, and I would hate to see any of them have to be deported. They have small children. I don't know how they're renting or buying the houses, but my wife and I were talking about it, like, well, what if these people have to be removed? And it's like, well, honey, I don't know. That's the Christian battle we have to fight tomorrow.
There's nothing Christian about that. About those feelings, at least.
I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the wrong word for it.
Because it's not like you're
Yeah,
wishing them. You're not wishing badly for them.
that.
You're not wishing bad for them. You don't want them to die. You don't want anything.
No, not
you
at
don't
all.
want nothing.
In fact,
you're not even. It's not even about that. Your Mexican family. You're nice. They're probably very nice family, neighbors over there. This has nothing to do with
they're
them.
wonderful.
It's about the right thing,
sweet people.
and it's about the continuation of a country. Can it continue like this? I don't think it can. Not for much longer. It's got to be dealt with.
That's exactly it. The country we won't make it at this rate if we continue this heart bleeding battle. That I think that's what it is. They're attacking our goodwill in nature.
America's like 3% of the
so
world.
much we can give.
As big as America is, what percentage of is in
I'm sorry, what?
As big as America is, America still only is about 3.2% of the world's population. You gotta it's just crazy to even think for a second that even 1% of the whole globe deserves, for some reason, just deserves to be here. 1%, one more percent. If I snap my fingers and brought 1% of the whole globe here, that would be like we would drown.
Chaos.
It would be America's over.
Yeah,
absolute
exactly.
chaos.
Exactly.
It's not about the nice family. It's not about any of that. You don't wish them harm. You don't wish any of that. So
I mean, Godspeed. Like, my heart goes with you. You know, you made the journey to get here, but something I learned as a tough lesson in life: sometimes you make bad choices. Sometimes you make the wrong choice. It was cool at first. It was working out. But we all knew this was just a short amount of time before this wasn't going to work out.
Absolutely, man.
My point with the whole thing was, like I said, my wife hates it when I rant about this, but I just think that this is the one thing I don't know that Trump could really do. Yeah. I know he's going to try his best. I just don't know how he's going to do it.
Fair enough, man, and I share a lot of that too. Hey, anything else you want to mention before we move the wheels?
No, Nick, thank you so much. I love your show. Hey. I love the network, and I'll try to always cue in every time, man.
Love it, man. I appreciate the support, sir. Call me again.
Thank you, Nick. Goodbye.
888-775-3773. If you want to call the Anchor Baby here, get on the line. Get it off your chest. In fact, calls coming in, back-to-back callers. Very nice. I know you're hearing me. No call screener. I will get to you. But first, yet another blast from the past. Can I hit you with another one? We got another blast from the past for you here. Let me play you a little clippy. Watch this one. Trump and Vince McMahon. WWE days. Whoa! What the women are shrieking in glee. They love it. The women love it. They love it when the men fight. I mean, he was touching the man's face and stuff. I don't know what he was expecting. Vince McMahon, Trump, on a certain face-off here, WWE back in the day, touching the man's face, touching his tie, touches his face. A little too far for the Mr. Trump here. Gives him a good old wallop, like he says in a moment.
Through your head as you slapped Vince McMahon.
Well, he had no right to touch me, and he started playing around, and I gave him a wallop, and I think it had a pretty big impact. Actually, he's got a little problem with his face right now.
Classic stuff. Hey, thanks, little Nick. Classic stuff. Trump, Vince McMahon, two men. I spoke about Trump. I speak about Trump. I've mentioned Vince McMahon before. A little bit of a classic video there. Vince McMahon being slapped by Trump. And you know him, you've seen him, you've at least seen his face, right, in the memes. And then I'll get to calls. You've at least seen his face in the memes. Vincent Kennedy McMahon. And he, you know, he began commenting as a commentator, they call him, for the WWE, then called the Worldwide Wrestling Federation back then, WWF. He ended up buying this company from his father and made it into an entertainment powerhouse like you wouldn't believe. Like you wouldn't believe. And so that was a little bit of that entertainment happening. Yes, it's scripted. I know you know this by now. Grow up. We love wrestling. I want to mention Vince McMahon here. I want to mention it because I mentioned him some time ago, back when he was being accused of some hush money payments. There was all these hush money allegations. Oh, it's all these powerful men in hush money. I swear, it's only hush money when they're rich. Otherwise, it's just like sexual allegations or whatever. So he was being accused of hush money payments. And what happened was this whistleblower tip led to some internal investigation from the WWE, which uncovered these payments made to these 4 women, and the origins of which were hazy and sordid in nature, mired in allegations, and what was supposed to be public cases, but were shooed away with money. Whatever. That's the allegations. And so I remember speaking on this a little bit because when you uncover some of it, it's a lot of the same feminist language and allegations from years ago. And what were they? Remember, what were the crimes for Vince McMahon back then? Well, they were saying, well, let me make it clear, no criminal indictments or formal investigations or criminal accusations have been filed against Vince McMahon up to this day. So let me make that clear for you. But take this in. What was when it came out in the media to smear him and all that? What were the charges? Well, hush money payments. If I may, for a second, that's not a crime. Hush money sounds like totally legal. But look, let me just express. Just take this in. We don't know what that's about. We don't know what that's hush money and what were they saying? They were saying hush money and sexual misconduct. Allegations of hush money payments and sexual misconduct. Okay, so we don't know a thing about that, what that's about. And it's just as likely, if not more likely, that the women doing the accusing have an agenda. Yes, women lie. And what's more is if improprieties really did happen, it's never how it's described or portrayed, like a powerful man who coerced a poor woman who had no free will and no recourse but to do this horrible thing. It's never like that. It's never like that. It's never like that. So, like, it's either some powerful or violent man taking what's his or whatever. I mean, they call it sexual misconduct, for God's sakes. Like, it's sex. The misconduct is usually what makes it sexy. I'm sorry. It's a nasty thing. It's sex. It's the misconduct is what makes it randy, baby. I don't know what I'm referencing there. But look, it's mired in misconduct. Hello? But then the misconduct, I guess, goes too far in some way, shape, or form. And then it's like, oh, that was grape. Come on. In recent years, he has also faced allegations of sexual misconduct and hush money payments, totaling almost $15 million. This goes back to what Jesse was saying. Like, if you even had $15 million, the hush money payments you would be making. And the term hush money, for a second, what a fake term. It implies like illegal coercion. But in 99% of use cases of this term, it's describing a purely consensual and usually legal contract. Am I crazy? Tell me where I'm wrong. 888-775-3773. Hush money, the implication is that you coerced and at gunpoint was like, take this money, you better not say anything or I'll kill your family. But really, it's a consensual contract and usually very, very legal one. It's called an NDA. Am I crazy? I don't think so. So this Netflix, the reason I'm talking about Vince McMahon, I'm bringing him back up, is because this Netflix documentary is set to come out tomorrow, and they're all talking about it like, ooh, the trailer's out. This Netflix documentary about Mr. McMahon is about to come out tomorrow. And it's supposed to blow the lid on, get this, sex trafficking allegations. Here we go again. Again, to my audience, I implore you to keep space with so-called sex trafficking accusations, because almost in every case I've talked about it, it's not sex trafficking. It's like dubious that it's sex trafficking, because the implication is you got these people who are like at gunpoint being forced to do sex stuff. But in all these cases, these women have careers, they have phones, they have freedom, they're alone, they have alone time. They're alone time away from the so-called abuser. Doesn't sound, since when do sex trafficking victims have careers? They say that these women involved with Diddy were coerced to do certain things because he would control their careers. That is not a fair argument at all. And so I had to sleep with him to be famous. That's not coercion. That's dirty, dark, whatever. But you didn't have to do that. So don't come up with that stuff. That's stupid. And again, no formal charges against Vincent McMahon. So let me play this trailer for you for tomorrow's Netflix trailer for the documentary, because there's a couple interesting things about it, if I may. Check it out.
People have wondered who I really am. You know, the portrayal of me, I'm a bad guy. But no one really knows me.
In the world of professional wrestling,
Vince McMahon, he's easy to hate.
What you expect,
I don't fight fair.
That's exactly what you're going to get.
It's not my fault that I happen to be a self-made billionaire.
That was his character. He fought dirty. You know, McMahon, the character, fought dirty. I'm bombastic. I'm comfort. I don't care what you think. But his character would get made fun of a lot of the time. He would be the butt of a joke and gags all the time. That was what made it really funny, because he's like the big boss, but here's the big boss getting joshed on. So that was his character. And look, tough guys who have high standards, yeah, they rub a lot of people the wrong way. They can't handle it.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to All American Wrestling. When I bought my dad's business, my vision was to make this mainstream. Welcome to WrestleMania.
Vince created this huge empire, billion-dollar entertainment juggernaut.
He did things no one thought were possible.
Everything he did turned to gold.
There were so many scandals going on.
On trial
and
for
then it
steroids.
turns nasty.
90% of the wrestlers are on steroids.
Another dead wrestler.
This rocked the very foundation of the WWE. I would accept no responsibility whatsoever.
None whatsoever. They live this lifestyle.
Breaking news, Vince McMahon is stepping aside.
The lawsuit accusing him of countless depraved and humiliating acts.
I didn't think the lawsuit could shock me, and I was floored.
When it comes to Vince, a lot of that is a character.
There's the Trump slap.
He's going to show you what he wants you to see.
The lines of reality are very blurred in our business. The individual loses all sense of who they really are.
My name is not Vince. My name is Mr. McMahon.
Legend. Absolute legend. But, you know, this is obviously, you saw the direction. It's like nasty, and it's supposed to be revelatory of nastiness and nasty things. Look at nasty Vince McMahon. And it's like, you know what? When you're someone with that much money in an entertainment industry. It could very well be true, a lot of these nasty things. That's not what I'm talking about. I don't care about that. I don't care about that at all. I'm just dubious that all the people who were doing nasty around with him for decades and years, and all of a sudden they're like, ooh, he's nasty and evil, weren't just as nasty and evil right there with him. And if I may add, consensually. It's just crazy. It's totally crazy. Now, and what's crazy is public opinion and all that. Like, we don't even know. Now, it may come out tomorrow, he had a woman at gunpoint and he forced her to do this. It's like, okay, that's pretty bad. But what the heck do you know? And and look at the vibe they put. Another dead wrestler, steroids. Yeah, welcome. You didn't know this? You didn't know bodybuilding and you didn't know that whole fitness world? Steroids. Welcome. Is this your first time coming in here? And you want to blame Vince McMahon for that? I accept no responsibility. He slaps it out. They're trying to portray him as evil, like so uncaring. Don't you care that your industry is killing these people that are taking steroids? That's not his fault. You can't put that on him. He may, well, he's part of this industry that like promotes that, sure, because you got to be this big, strong guy in there. But those guys were there consensually as well. And the world picks a king. They pick a king and they party with him and they revel and they gorge on their thrills. And then when the dust settles and the excitement settles, they all devour each other, starting with the person they so-called love the most. It's so crazy. It's crazy. The world is nuts. The world is so evil. And they put it on Netflix and they put it, and we all watch and we're like, yeah, wow, this is what's evil. Wow, I'm learning through Netflix in this documentary what evil looks like. And they have no clue. It's crazy. They have no clue. People, literally everyone watching that, most likely, 99% of the people who are watching that tomorrow are the evil ones. So Vince McMahon, he did put out a statement about this. It's from the Daily Mail. Before the show premieres this week, McMahon has released a statement condemning Netflix for using editing tricks to lead viewers down the wrong path and conflating the character he used to portray in the WWE with his true self. I don't regret participating in this Netflix documentary, he said in a statement. The producers had an opportunity to tell an objective story about my life and the incredible business I built, which were equally filled with excitement, drama, fun, and a fair amount of controversy and life lessons. Unfortunately, based on an early partial cut I've seen, the documentary falls short and takes predictable path of conflating the Mr. McMahon character with my true self, Vince. A lot has been misrepresented or left out entirely in an effort to leave viewers intentionally confused. The producers used typical editing tricks with out-of-context footage and dated sound bites to distort the viewer's perception and support a deceptive narrative. I hope the viewer will keep an open mind and remember that there are two sides to every story. Little statement from Vince McMahon. Chin up, king, as some might say. But anyways, look, I want to move on from this. I want to take this call who's been waiting for me. I appreciate the patience. I'll leave you with this final thing on Vince McMahon. The sex trafficking allegations are now coming down from this one woman. Who worked with the organization, with Vince McMahon or whatever, for many years. And her name is Janelle Grant. Mildly attractive, as they say. And I just want to say that I don't know if there's any way you can trust justice will be served. Because, she's out here saying, she's all like, oh, where is it? She says, I was coerced and sex trafficked. And then her lawyer, some woman, is in the media saying she was trafficked. And then you see the details. And just like I've been describing in so many of these cases, she's free. She's alone. She has a phone. She's got freedom. She can be away from Vince McMahon. She has a career. She has a job. She gets paid. And she also admits to voluntarily doing things with people. But this specific thing was too far. And this is when I began to be trafficked. It's crazy. It's totally crazy. So, no, I don't think you could trust justice will be served. In fact, I trust the opposite will happen when you consider that Megan Hall, remember that woman who slept with half of the police force? Somewhere like where was this? I forget where this was, but you remember her. Megan Hall, remember this one? Who slept with like all those police members of her own force, and she was married. And then when it all came out, she did some lawsuit and they gave her $500,000. And why? Because she was sexually exploited? Yeah, that's why I don't trust. In fact, I trust the opposite of justice. So-called justice will happen. So, sex trafficking is just a term used if your target has got money, is what I've noticed, okay? Appreciate the patience. Let me get to this caller, your name, and where are you calling from? Go ahead.
Nick, it's Brian from North Carolina.
How you doing, sir? Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Nick. I appreciate it, man. I'm doing well. Listen, man, I am in 100% agreement with you and expecting the opposite, if we're going to be expecting anything.
Yes.
But it'll be an act of God if justice is served. And I'm going to tell you why. And you already kind of mentioned it. You talked about something earlier sounding like public opinion. And everything is public opinion now. And I had a friend yesterday, a close friend of mine yesterday, bring up Vince McMahon and mention to me everything that you just kind of mentioned is going on. And, you know, he was kind of, he was judging Vince McMahon. And until I pointed out to him that it was consensual, like you just said. I pointed out to him that everything's consensual. He goes, well, yeah, you're right about that. And that's most people out here today.
Wow.
Most people out here today will see something, right? And then they'll make a judgment on it on both sides, on the side of evil and on the quote-unquote side of good. For instance, you just heard the last caller, David, heart-bleeding war, and I hate to see it, or I hate for them to do these things. Yep. It's all the same spirit.
So true.
And it's sad what's happening to a lot of these men today. I can't imagine.
Chin up. What was it? Where was it? I was. Hold on. I had it.
Hey, you know what was in my head when David, shout out to David.
I have said these things to you that in me you may have peace. In the world you will have tribulation, but take heart, I have overcome the world. You were saying about David though?
When David was talking, a song popped in my head. It goes, "Don't break my heart, Mike. You break your heart."
It's look, everyone's emotional, and emotions are like these are like from hell. They're like from hell. They're from demons. They're from Satan, and it's like everyone has them. It's crazy. It's like everybody has to reflect. Everybody must repent. Like everybody.
Yeah, but that's the public, like you said. Everything now is. I mean, it's like Jesse says too. You know, yeah, you can vote in people, and Trump can come in and help out a little bit. But unless the people change, then ain't nothing gonna change. And like you just said, everybody needs to do it. Now we know everybody ain't gonna do it. So
bingo.
I guess we could just wait. We could just take care of ourselves and have a wait and see about things.
It's crazy, man. It's like all walks of life, Christian, tough guys. But yeah, we got emotions going around. It's dictating a lot of things, sir.
Yes, sir. But great show.
Always a pleasure, Brian.
I wish Vince McMahon well as well. And take care, Nick.
Call me again. 888-775-3773. It's crazy. It's crazy. You've been crazy. Hey, Harmony, thank you so much for the union dues. We're getting union dues and super chats. Very nice. Union dues from Harmony. Much appreciated. In fact, Carver earlier says, hey, look, the super chats are black. Plantation dues. No, the super chats are back, not black. I see why you guys were saying I was demonetized yesterday. No, we cancel those words in the name of Jesu Christ. we cancel such words of demonetization. That being said, I wasn't demonetized. I just had the super chats clicked off because on Friday, as the hours rolled by and I kept closer to takeoff time, I knew I wasn't doing the show, wasn't feeling good, and people usually super chat early and they get first class tickets, and I didn't want them buying first class tickets. And then I forgot to flick it back on. So no, we do have super chats, and I appreciate those super chats. Harmony and Carver, plantation/union dues, duly noted. More plantation stuff coming up, okay? I'll let you know. And all the support on D-Live, very nice. I got another caller here. Want to get to you. Your name and where you calling from?
This is Mr. Pink.
What's up, sir? Mr. Pink, nice to hear from you. How you been?
You know, I'm good. Just,
oh man, it's good.
Shoot, next week I'll be preaching up at my church.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that you were going to do something like that.
Well, I'm in school to learn the ropes and, you know, get all that figured out. But
I feel like I might have heard that, but I forgot.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, no, I mean, you know, no big deal. It's my first time doing it and everything, so I kind of, you know, just kind of get in the swing of things. They're going to give me a Wednesday night, so that's cool. But regardless, you know, you was talking about Vince McMahon. You know me wrestling stuff.
Let's go.
I gotta get my 2 cents in.
We got Mr. Pink.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to ask you. I mean, you used to watch when you was a kid a little bit, right?
Big time.
See, so you know that you see all those footage of like Vince McMahon doing the yelling, "I'm the billionaire." Do you remember when he used to fight Stone Cold?
Yes.
Right. That was
what
the
specifically
best,
though?
You know?
Is there something specific about that? Because I don't quite remember anything particularly. I just
Well,
remember.
I mean,
I remember him
time.
fighting Stone Cold. Yeah.
Yeah, he was like the ultimate villain.
Yes.
For Stone Cold to fight against, because the whole thing was at the time, you know, they needed a new good guy because WCW was doing so good and kind of building up and kind of starting to beat them in the ratings. So they needed a new character for the fans to latch onto. And he was kind of the ultimate, Stone Cold became kind of the ultimate anti-hero, right? He was just like an average guy with jean shorts and drank a whole bunch and was fighting back against the boss character.
Yeah.
Right? And what they wanted was to establish this kind of thing that related to the audience about, well, you know, you always wanted to be that guy that got to punch your boss in the face, right? And so that's how kind of Stone Cold took off, because
I think that
Vince
flew
McMahon
over my
became the
head
bad
back
guy
then.
for him.
That flew way over my head back then, I got to say.
Yeah, I mean, well, we weren't ever necessarily in that situation, you know, because we were kids, we were watching it, but it was always just cool to see the glass break and Stone Cold come out there and you know, spray beer all over Vince McMahon with the beer truck, and it was just good times, you know.
And Vince was always like over the top villain. He was great, but it was always like over the top and comic book like you know, villain, like, and he'd make these goofy faces, and sometimes he'd get pranked, and it's like the big bad villain got pranked, and it was always kind of clearly like goofy and you know, entertainment. It was pure entertainment. For anyone to take that seriously, like he's a nasty person, just like the character Vince McMahon is like, you're being ridiculous.
Well, but at the same time, though, he would kind of let some of that stuff bleed out into his character on TV, because there was a weird thing he was doing for a while, and it kind of like, I look back on it now, and it kind of makes me go, you know, I don't want to say like all the allegations are true or whatever, but it makes me like look at the allegations and go, maybe, because he would do this thing where he would have his lackeys kind of following him around or whatever, and he would make them do what was called the Kiss My Ass Club. And it was like basically people who would like just like, you know, the figurative, like, oh, you're kissing my butt, I mean, you're blowing smoke or whatever. Vince would literally make them, he would take his pants down on TV and literally make these people kiss his ass. Like,
it doesn't.
Dude, what is this guy?
It's no big. It's way bigger of a deal if you see some cheek and you see lip actually have to touch cheek. It's like, okay, that's actual human. Like, this is yo, like this is like, this is like a moment on entertainment right now. He's a genius. He's an absolute genius.
Yeah.
You got to show
absolutely.
cheek.
That's true.
If it was pants, it's like, okay, that's fun. But cheek? Oh my gosh, this guy's getting embarrassed on TV. I can't believe it.
Yeah, that's absolutely. And he really knew how to play up the outrageousness.
Yep. Outrageous, totally his thing.
What were you saying?
I was saying, like, I wanted to ask you, you said, and it makes me believe the allegations a little bit, but why even a little bit? Just because he acts like crazy?
No, it's just that there would be moments where he would kind of be coming up, like, because I always, like, paid attention to the behind-the-scenes news that would be coming out, and, you know, because I was always into not just the entertainment, watching the show, I would get into, like, how do they come up with deciding who's going to be champion, for instance, right? Because, you know, that's decided.
Right.
You know?
What's the script? Who decides the script? Yeah.
Yeah, I got into the whole, like, inner workings of how that actually goes, how they're not really fighting, but they're just, you know, choreographing things to look like they are.
Hey, man,
and,
those are still athletes, okay? There may be choreographed, but you got to be an athlete to do some of that stuff, okay? So, you know.
Yeah, you get it. You get it. And so that's the thing, is that's where my respect comes in, is because it's like acting, but like on a whole, like, elevated scale where you're doing, like, you know, I always say it doesn't feel good to fall through a bunch of tables.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're not doing that just for their own personal enjoyment. They're doing that to get a reaction from the audience.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, so I would look into all that stuff, but you would hear things about Vince coming up with storylines that was like, why would this guy need to be putting like this on TV? There was like weird stuff about, he was trying to run a storyline for a minute where, his daughter, Stephanie McMahon, would have been pregnant on, like, in the story, and that he would have been the father.
Right.
And it was like, why are you coming up with this? That's weird,
because it's outrageous.
Like,
and that was, and they didn't even do that. They didn't even do that. That was just an idea. He just brought up an idea at a meeting, and they were like, "Okay, we're not doing that." And then they didn't do it. It's just an idea.
Yeah.
Can't a glizzer throw out ideas? Can't a glizzer speak freely? God damn. Can a glizzer,
you're right.
suggest impregnating his daughter for entertainment purposes at a meeting? I mean, come on. Is this America or what?
Dude. That's funny. That's great. I love it, Nick. I love you playing devil's advocate on that one for sure. Now, it's like, it's just like in those small moments where I look back on that and be like, yeah, he was a little weird on TV for sure. And, you know, it's like, what kind of mind is coming up with that for real? He did this one time where he was
entertainment genius.
Well, he did this one time where he was feuding with Shawn Michaels, and
the Heartbreak
Shawn Michaels
Kid.
but later on Shawn came back and he had a reformed Christian character.
Oh,
right?
really?
And he would come out there with the cross on, and Shawn was like, "I got my act together now."
I didn't know that.
Right? Yeah. So he did it, and he was doing that for like a year or so. But then he was feuding with Vince and his son Shane.
Yes.
And Vince was basically trying to play up he's fighting Shawn and God, and Vince was trying to play like the devil, literally on screen. That was pretty crazy for a while.
That's funny, man. If you got the Christian
awesome.
and he's got God behind him, and you got the villain, the heel of the industry, it just makes sense, you know. It's like, and he's got the devil behind him.
It was hilarious. They did a match at one of the big shows, and it was Vince and Shane versus Shawn Michaels and God. It was literally the main event.
I seen that. And they had an entrance for God.
And there was a spotlight that came down the ramp.
Yep. God entrance. That was one of the best moments. They're like, and now introducing God. And he does the funniest like face and voice. He's like, and introducing from heaven himself, God. Like, it's amazing.
So Vince is just outrageous. And that's why I say I don't really want all this stuff to be true, because like I was saying to you in like previous phone calls, we talked about this before, is I don't want all this people, because I watched this guy's content for years, you know. I had respect for, or not had, but still do, his like acting ability, his ability to go out there and play, like, in my mind, one of the greatest television villains that ever happened. You know, he was on TV for like 10, 15 years doing that character. And that's like pretty impressive.
You would lose respect for him,
TV
like
villains.
You would lose respect for someone from what? Like, from what?
Well, I'm not saying that. Like, I wouldn't lose.
Like, let's say for a second let's say for a second tomorrow it comes out that he bound and gagged some woman and he had her at gunpoint and trafficked her. But you, before hearing that, respected the man for whatever reason. Why would that hearing that, and let's assume it's true for this hypothetical, why would that remove your respect that you had for this person before that moment?
Well, it wouldn't remove the respect I had for that person's ability to act and play the character and to come up with, WrestleMania and all of the great things I watched on TV and all that stuff. I mean, it would make me lose respect for him, like, on a personal level, because, I mean, it's like not, I don't go around, like, touting, rapists as great people. You know what I mean? I'm not going to do that. So it's a moral.
But wait, hold on.
Thing.
Who's saying that when you respect someone, you're saying they're a great or a good person? That doesn't mean you respect. That's not respect. That's not showing someone respect. That's a lie, first of all. Call someone a good person or a great person, number one, is a lie. Number one's a good person.
Yeah.
And that's not where respect comes from. In fact, it shows respect. It's showing respect that despite seeing someone in their lowest and doing something horrible and sordid, that you wouldn't allow seeing something like that, even if true, you wouldn't allow that to affect the other things that you saw for yourself about a person that caused you to respect them in the first place. You know what I mean? It's showing them respect. It's showing someone respect to not to accept them at their lowest. You understand what I'm saying? And that doesn't mean to justify or say it's okay to do X, Y, Z. But that's just a better understanding of respect itself. I mean, think about it for a second. You were about to say, what kind of person does X, Y, Z? Well, guess what, Mr. Pink? Literally everybody. Literally everybody.
Yeah.
Literally every single person you know.
No, you're right, and I think it's the definition of respect that we're talking about that comes in play. It's like that. That's not something I would do on my timeline in my mind. That's not something I would do. But does that completely make them? How do I know?
Yeah.
I mean,
how you know?
That's an interesting question.
When's the last time you lied?
I can't remember, to be honest with you.
Last week?
I can't remember. No. It was like years ago.
Exactly. Now, take that lie and give it $15 million.
No, I get what you're saying. You got a point. Right?
And now you're not lying. Now you're not lying about, I didn't bite my nails. And now you're saying, oh no, I didn't sex traffic. You know what I'm saying? Hey.
Yeah, you got a point. It's like, well, no, you're making valid points here. It's that holier than thou kind of mindset that you want to kind of drop.
Totally.
Because at any moment we could be at our lowest doing some kind of depraved mess, and then we come out of that and we want the same forgiveness that we would extend to Vince McMahon for doing the depraved mess that he was doing. And that's the whole idea of like Christ likeness, is that he came to redeem even the most depraved. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you're making very valid points, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think now maybe I'm misunderstanding the word respect, but even that where you describe Jesus helping the most, the worst, the all those people. Maybe I don't understand the word respect. Maybe you could correct me here, but that almost seems like Jesus showing them respect.
No, absolutely, yeah. that's what I'm saying. That it makes me kind of go back and like I'm like, all right, so maybe the word or the phrase that I shouldn't be using is like lose respect for this person,
yeah,
or whatever, because of like what has come out in the limelight. You know, it's like so say Trump, for instance, did some of the things that he's getting accused of, whether he did or not, right? Still not going to lose respect for that guy because he's out there fighting to keep the nation right and all of the other things that I respect about him. And so I'm not going to let like his convictions, if they happen, completely tarnish his reputation in my mind. And
bingo.
The whole point of like Christ and what he did was to be able to like say that you forgive somebody no matter how bad they are. And
it's so true.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's like at the end of the day, that's what he talked about no matter what. It was
wow,
you can
all
always
you're seeing
be
is
redeemed.
Always be redeemed. Sorry, go on.
I mean, you can always be redeemed no matter how far down the pit you're in. You know?
And
I mean, there was a point,
and to add to
like
that,
I said,
go. My bad.
No, it's all good. There was a point in my life when, you know, I didn't believe and I was like way down a path of like drinking and like psychedelic drugs and all this stuff. And it led me to a point of like, I was like homeless, right? But God didn't give up on me then, just the same as like, I wouldn't want to like give up on somebody just because they're in a different walk of depravity than I was in, you know?
All you're seeing is a man in a low point. That's all. There's nothing more to conclude from that. There's nothing more to conclude. And that is why I stopped respect. So respect is if someone's cool, if someone is, you know what I mean? Like does cool things that you enjoy and now you don't. No, that has nothing to do with that. All you're seeing is a man at a lowest point, in a low point. It would be disrespectful to then judge that. And then on top of that, to change this opinion that you saw, you with your own eyes saw something and you're like, I respect that. And now all of a sudden you're gonna be afraid. You're gonna be really, and really the only reason people do that is because of fear of people around them, of what others might think of them standing on that respect.
Perception. Yeah, you got a point. Like it's like, so just the bad thing that quote unquote bad thing that they've done does not invalidate the other good things that you've seen them do.
100%, man.
Yeah. So you're making total sense.
Very interesting, sir. We're wishing Vince well. Sure. Anything else you want to talk about?
Well, you know, I just had to get my 2 cents in on the.
I appreciate that.
On the wrestling topic. So.
Right on, man. Hey, wishing you well. Your first preaching. And right before Bible Thumper Thursday. Oh, next Wednesday. But it's still before a Bible Thumper Thursday. Very nice.
Yeah, interesting. You know, I'm always thumping that Bible.
Let's go. Call Jesse and tell him how it goes. It might be nice to hear.
Yeah, if I can get through, maybe I will. But Jesse's just going to want to argue Jesse's just going to want to argue about how Jesus.
I know. I want to hear
God
it.
versus Jesus is a God.
I want to hear.
That's what we'll just spat back and forth about that.
That's what Thursdays are for.
Where is it written that Jesus said he was God? And it's like, but it didn't say. Well, then it didn't say it. Like,
he didn't say it. But he did say it.
Yeah, he didn't say it out loud with his mouth, but he implied it in other ways. He didn't have to say it word for word.
We're going to have to get in on this another day, Mr. Pink. We're at the end of the show.
Yeah,
Call me again on this or anything else.
Brother. Yeah, for sure. You got it.
Take care, sir.
Respect.
All right, folks, that's the show. Let me get to these quick super chats that have come in. Much appreciated, as always. Thank you, Kale Samogi. Says, if Diddy activity is caused by anger and every single human on earth is Diddy, does that mean it's impossible to drop the anger? Kale, I think you got the order of operations wrong. Your bed mass is wrong here a little bit. If Diddy activity is caused by anger and every single human on earth is angry, does that mean blah, blah, blah? I'm just helping you out a little bit. Because it's not like every single human on earth is Diddy because they're angry, not because they're literally Diddy or literally doing what he's doing right now. In fact, a whole bunch of people who are judging him are not doing what he's doing. specifically. That being said, the order of operations is a little bit more like, if Diddy activity is caused by anger and every single human on earth is angry, does that mean it's impossible to drop the anger? No, of course not. Just forgive. What do you think about forgiveness, Kale? Have you done so? And how has that affected your life? I think you could drop the anger. Ergo, you could drop the Diddy activity. But that's a little bit, I think that's the order of operations there on that one. Appreciate all the super chats, all the support, D-Live crew, the people over there at rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. All of you are amazing. Catch me tomorrow. Oh, wait, let me check one last thing here. Ooh, the key. Thank you for the coffee, says Nick. What are your thoughts on Diddy's grooming relationship with Usher and Bieber when they were tender little lads being exploited by the diddler? The key. What is this language you're using? It's so accusatory. You know, you don't want to be with the accusatory language. Shout out accusers. Hey, you know, that accuser just being all accusatory. It may not be necessary, okay? I'm learning this. Look, I may even know this from experience a little bit. The key. Check out yesterday's episode. I talked about Usher, Bieber, and Diddy. You might be interested in what I was saying yesterday. So please check out yesterday's episode. Love y'all. Catch me tomorrow for more American Anchor Baby. We got Wednesday Manhood Hour coming up on the JLP show and the rest of the Bond Network. As always, all right, y'all. Love this. Thanks for the support. Take care. I'm out. Peace.